350. Press home to open. Button.
Oh, I missed hearing that. Welcome.
FaceTime.
Yeah. Welcome.
Double tap to open.
All right, yeah. Cool. Welcome home. Home button. You know, if you would have asked me a few years ago, would Apple ever bring back the home button on a newer iPhone and not just keep selling older models that had them and that would eventually no longer be the case, I probably would have told you no. The iPhone X really kind of changed the design language of how we look or feel iPhones. And, you know, I'm happy to report in 2020 that options exist.
Alert. Accessibility shortcuts. Selected. VoiceOver. VoiceOver off.
Just gonna turn that off just so it doesn't interrupt me in the actual video. So, VoiceOver example is just one way that I, as a person who's legally blind, interacts with an iPhone. Essentially, it narrates everything that's on screen, and I can fluently get through the entire operating system without looking.
Adjust your grid. Keep going to capture the edges of your print. Continue. Photo of a person holding an iPhone with their right hand while touching the home button with their thumb. Image. Continue. Button.
Without having to look, without maybe even having sight. So it's a great way for, of course, blind folks to use an iPhone, or other smartphones offer other solutions. But in case you're wondering how a visually impaired person is using phone, well, I have other videos that go more in depth on that. That's a short answer. I've actually had a little over a week to play with the iPhone SE. Luckily, Apple sent me an early unit, and I'm really enjoying it. The iPhone SE, and why is it relevant that a person who is legally blind is giving their take on the iPhone SE? It's because actually a lot of the blind community, who 70% have been surveyed that use iPhone, have expressed concerns over the recent designs of the iPhone. For example, iPhone 11 Pro. I love this phone. I love the camera. As someone who literally uses cameras as kind of an alternate way to see the world, this is essentially like, this is my go-to pick up, shoot, and it's just accessible. I've talked about the iPhone 11 being the most accessible camera in the past. And, you know, it's a really good phone. It's a really amazing camera, and I really don't have many complaints, if any, about my iPhone 11. This is the Max variant in particular. I mainly use the 11 Pro in the smaller form. The iPhone SE originally launched at a time when iPhones were getting a bit larger. They were going into the 4.7 and 5.5 inch range, and eventually they got to the 5.8 and the
6.5 inch.
I don't know, iPhone screens and most smartphone screens have gotten really big. But there are some people, though some with usable vision and visual impairments may benefit from a larger display, there are some people who are totally blind. Some people who maybe prefer not to use any usable vision that they might have because it's not as comfortable as an auditory experience with a phone. And again, VoiceOver is one way to interact with a phone. There's even lighter versions of text-to-speech, TTS for short, available on iPhone, like Speak Screen or Select to Speak or Speak on the Zoom controller. And even using something like Siri is an accessibility feature. It just kind of goes to show that the display does not always matter for every user. I think that can even be summed up with many folks who are just casual phone users, just need a good, fast-running smartphone. It's gonna last them quite a few years, and maybe it's affordable. And it just needs to have a display that is visible, that is high definition. iPhone SE really fits into that box, the second generation specifically. The first one, it came from the body of an iPhone 5, and it was fine. A lot of people like that 4-inch display. This is really a nice upgrade, and it's hard to keep that 4-inch display in that old iPhone 5 body with today's internals, because when you really look at it, these chips are getting bigger that these phones are running, and this thing is amazingly, for $399 starting price here in the US, running the same exact computer chip, the A13 Bionic, as the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro Max, which start at $1,000. $999 if you will. And when you actually look under the hood at what this chip is, you know, it's the thing that's helping your phone run all the tasks day to day. It's helping run the apps. It's making sure that it's going to be compatible with updates, future-proofing it down the line. And the fact that Apple's is running the latest A13 chip, which you don't need to hear it from me, but there are certainly a number of tech reviewers out there who praise the A13 chip and really say it is the best chip in a smartphone today. And many of the folks who are running Android, they just don't have access to these chips because these chips are custom made by Apple. Apple managed to put this very powerful chip that is blowing away the competition. And that competition can range anywhere from like $100 all the way to like $2,000 for a folding phone. And they fit it in a $400 phone. So the fact that this phone is going to run apps and be supported with software updates for probably years beyond what the competition will, I think it adds a lot of value to that phone. This phone in particular, the iPhone SE 2nd generation. Look, many folks are saying that this is not something to get excited about, and who knows, maybe it's because of the current state of the world and there isn't a whole lot to really get excited about day to day with the news cycle and, you know, all the wonderful things happening on the outside world. Stay home. Just stay home for a little bit, please. Do us all a favor. But at the same time, Apple has released a new iPhone, and objectively, I would say this is a phone to get excited about. Now, it doesn't have all the same features as an iPhone 11 with night mode and a triple camera system and the like portrait mode that can take photos of your pets and your objects and telephoto and ultra wide, and it doesn't have all that. It's got a really solid, really good, kind of a hybrid camera between what you get in the XR, but with the silicon of the iPhone 11. So it's really gonna be doing a lot of post-processing of what the iPhone 11 can do with a wide lens, but be a 12 megapixel, just really solid shooter that can do portrait mode, it can do portrait lighting, it can even change the depth of like the background, which is, again, it's a really good camera. You don't need an ultra wide, you're not looking for a telephoto, and you just want to take portraits of friends, family, humans, your baby. iPhone SE might do the trick. This is just a quick front-facing test of the iPhone SE. Honestly, it does not, I don't know, I'm visually impaired. Let me know if you can tell if this looks good or bad. Okay, so now this is the rear-facing camera, kind of in a vlog style. This is shooting 4K 30 frames per second, being exported out into 1080p HD. So let me know what this looks and sounds like. This is using the autofocus of that 12 megapixel lens. There's also stereo audio, so you should be able to hear the differences if you have stereo audio enabled with whatever device you're listening to this on. So using my iPhone, I was actually able to zoom in and read that this says we will get through this together. It kind of gets cut off from the trees, but yeah, someone took a plane and wrote this out with clouds. That's pretty cool. We will get through this together. Hopefully we can get through this video together. Hopefully I haven't lost it yet. I want to introduce you to my friend Steven Aquino. He is a journalist who's been writing for iMore, for TechCrunch, and even most recently Forbes. Steven has a background in special education, but also journalism and taking on the role of covering things such as accessibility in the tech space. And let me say, he does amazing work. You've had about a week to experience the iPhone SE. Tell me a little bit, what is that experience like? I know I've checked out your review, so I've gotten a little bit of an impression of your take on it, but I guess even time after that review has gone live.
If you've had an iPhone within the last 5 or 6 years, it's the old style 4.7-inch screen compared to my iPhone 11. It's small. You know, as I said in the article, depending on who you are in terms of your accessibility needs and what you can afford, the iPhone SE is gonna be a helpful phone to, you know, anybody.
This phone is coming from the body of an iPhone 8. It's that iconic design that we've seen evolve since the iPhone 6. And it's got a glass back, so great for wireless charging, and it's got water resistance. So this can sit in clean water for about 1 meter, 30 minutes. Not too shabby. It's IPS67. Live in a day and age where face masks are pretty common. You might want to use this when you're going out. And what I've noticed is the iPhone 11 Pro can't quite. I gotta type in a passcode. I don't like typing in a passcode all the time, especially as someone who's using a screen reader. It's not always the most elegant or efficient solution. So, my iPhone SE. Well, if I have a face mask on, how do I unlock this? It's simple. Just press the home button and I'm in. It's thumbprint. It's using Touch ID, a very familiar way of using your phone if you've had an iPhone 5S or later, or any kind of Android device that offered a touch fingerprint unlocking solution. This one was definitely planned for many months, possibly a year, maybe longer, who knows, but it exists, and it came out at a time when I think most people who might be on fixed income or might need a new phone at some point, maybe even like now, and they need something that's affordable, that, you know, whether it's the monthly rates, the trade-in with monthly, or you just gotta buy in full and you need the cheapest, newest phone possible, well, iPhone SE, $399. Again, if you're looking to be in the Apple ecosystem, if you're looking to buy into Apple's values, such as their take on privacy, their take on the environment, and their take on accessibility, which is just a huge thing for me, because Apple has always been known to prioritize accessibility, and accessibility is going to be different for each person. It could be affordability, it could be being able to see their phone, or at least be able to intake the information differently, like auditorily. For someone like me, I do both. There are people who can't touch their phone whatsoever, and whether they want to interact with voice control, or they want to interact with switch control and not ever have to touch the display, and they can just control it through different input methods like a switch or on their wheelchair. They have their reputation with accessibility. They are well known for having it, and do they always get it right? No, no one does. But they have an amazing track record, and I mean, just saying for myself, I love Apple's accessibility features. The zoom makes it possible for me to edit videos on my Mac. I was curious about what he thought going from an iPhone 11 Pro Max to the iPhone SE, because he's been using the larger variant of the 11 Pro for quite a few months now, since really launch, and now the SE came out. Does he want to switch? Is he gonna switch? Let's hear from him.
I enjoy the style that they have now with Face ID and the big screen and everything else. But I mean, I have to say, like, holding the phone and carrying it around, it's been awesome. For the things that I do, like, I could totally switch. Like, it wouldn't be a huge deal. Like, I could totally do it. In terms of my job, like, I have to stay on top of everything, so that's why I have all these iPhones. The iPhone SE is so small and like so light compared to what I have. You know, if they change the screen so they would take it out to the edges more, that might be something that I would consider because of the small size. But I mean, all in all, I can't say I would switch.
In conclusion, I think the iPhone SE plays a vital role in the market. It's not going to be the phone for everybody, but it's going to be the phone for most of us. And for a lot of people, of course, within my community who are blind and low vision, affordability may be super important, but also the display may not matter. They might not need that full edge-to-edge OLED display that is like beautiful, but at the same time doesn't benefit everybody. So having the texture of a tactile home button with Touch ID and just a display for them to do their gestures, honestly just a great well-rounded phone overall for the everyday person, serves a very important role in the market. I would probably put my money that the iPhone SE is going to be one of the best-selling phones of the year. And for good reason. It's an amazing value. And again, you'll know if this phone's not for you, but just because there's some nice, awesome features for an extra $400, just consider what you get, what you need, and how much you really want to spend on a phone. By the way, I'm gonna switch to the iPhone SE. I don't know for how long. Maybe another phone will come, but for now, even though I love the 11 Pro and I praise its camera and I'm gonna keep an 11 Pro around, I'm gonna switch to the iPhone SE. I'm gonna maybe report back if you are curious on my thoughts overall on what that transition was like to move from an 11 Pro to an SE. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to hear about that experience? I hope that you could see different today, and I'll hear you next time. Bye. Stay home. Just as much as possible. Stay home. Hope you stay safe, healthy, and yeah. Bye.